In a faraway land full of magic and breathtaking sights lived a young witch by the name of Ashara. She lived all by herself in a small cottage deep in the woods. Sometimes, when it got really lonely, she would venture off to explore. The woods near her cottage were stunningly beautiful. The natural beauty of the trees and flowers were radiant, yet comforting. However, being the only human in the woods, it seemed to enhance her loneliness and self-doubt. In her attempt to fight back these negative thoughts, Ashara found herself wandering in the forest, searching for new friends as often as the weather allowed. Creatures from the woods would regularly approach her because of her sweet and welcoming nature. However, good conversation was not something that was easily found in the forest. The woodland creatures were a good source of companionship, but they weren't the type of company to have when in need of a heart-to-heart. As time passed, Ashara began to doubt herself more and more. Where are all the people she read about in storybooks? Could it be that strangers saw her in the distance and turned the other way? Was she too ugly or strange to be approached? And so with these nasty thoughts in her head, she decided to take matters into her own hands. The young witch had read in a book that if you brew a potion with the most beautiful things you can find, it can make you as beautiful as the items you used. She wanted her own beauty to shine as bright as the forest she loved, so she gathered all the things that she thought made the forest unique and beautiful. However, in her excitement, Ashara didn't notice the animal fur falling from her sleeve into the cauldron. She was completely blinded by her anticipation. Ashara felt something was wrong the moment she took a sip of her beauty potion. Suddenly, she felt dizzy and her vision became blurred, like she was standing in the middle of a dense fog. It seemed like the faint noises from the forest kept getting louder and louder until she felt like her eardrums were going to burst. The sides of her head began to hurt, almost like a growing pain. As she placed her hands where the pain was coming from, she felt two fluffy ears poking out from the top of her head. She started crying while attempting to pull the new ears off her head. Her thoughts began to race. She was devastated. Who would approach her when she looked like this? Will she have to be alone for the rest of her life? She was both angry and heartbroken because she let her own desperation lead her into this mess. After multiple attempts to reverse the effects of the potion, Ashara gave up. She spent weeks moping around the inside of her home. She was afraid that someone would see her and laugh at her appearance, ruining any chance she had at making a friend. She would often sit and let her bad thoughts take over for hours. One day, a thought struck her. She remembered some wise words that she had read years ago. True connections between people aren't made through outward appearances. They are made between their hearts. True friends would like her for who she was as a person, not for how she looked. Feeling excited by this new revelation, Ashara decided to travel as far as it took to meet someone that would want to be her friend. She was now confident that she could make friends with just being herself. Ashara then packed her things into a bag and set off on her quest to meet as many friends as possible.